Joe Shane and Brian Dable signed a familiar face to help replace Saquon Barkley at the running back position, and that is, of course, Devin Singletary. What's going on, everyone? Nick Villado with Big Blue View here to break down some Devin Singletary tape and maybe provide some analysis on what he could offer the 2024 New York Giants and the 2025 and the 2026, because he was signed to a 3-year deal. Singletary was drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 2019, a third-round pick, and then he spent last season with the Houston Texans, where he performed pretty well with rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud. The 5'7", 203-pound back had a poor combine, but still, Buffalo Bills brass, Brian Dable and Joe Shane were a part of, felt it necessary to spend a day 2 pick to bring him into Buffalo back in 2019. May say something about how much they value this back. Singletary rushed for 2,560 yards with an average of 4.6 yards per carry through his 3 seasons with Brian Dable, with 14 touchdowns as well. In his career, he rushed for a total of 4,438 yards and 24 touchdowns. Last year with the Houston Texans, he had 986 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns as he supplanted Dameon Pierce as the starting running back on a C.J. Stroud rookie quarterback-led offense. He's not the most exciting back in the league, but he's consistent, and I would argue underrated. I actually really appreciate Devin Singletary's game. I have for quite a while, and he was my number 1 cheap back that I wanted the Giants to add. I mean, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, all those guys were out of the mix in my opinion, but I wanted the Giants to add Devin Singletary, not just because of the familiarity, but also he has a lot of nuance to his game, which you'll see throughout this video. He also has 209 receptions on 256 career passes for 1,411 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Like I said, man, familiarity and production, they're very important. He has to fix the fumbles, right? He has a little bit of a fumbling issue. Throughout his career, he fumbled 14 times. He only fumbled once last year with the Houston Texans, so maybe he's having one of those Tiki Barber type moments where he's holding it high and tight and he's not coughing the football up as much, but that's one thing that definitely needs to be rectified. And I am curious if Shane Bowen had his say in this, and obviously I'm saying this tongue in cheek, but last year Singletary torched the Titans on the ground, right? He had 4.7 yards per carry, 201 yards on 42 carries through the 2 matchups, rushed for over 140 yards in one of those games. So that's something that is kind of funny to me. And that game was, turn on the tape of the Titans game, there'll be some clips in here of it. Very impressive. Singletary has almost an even split of carries in power gap and zone rushing concepts. He has rushed 477 times in power gap and 460 in zone. His combination of vision, tempo, and playing the cat and mouse game work to his advantage, allowing the back with less than desirable size and testing athleticism to thrive. His ability to stay low and change direction while staying slippery, maintaining balance through contact, and staying small at the line of scrimmage allow him to get up to the second level, where his ability to locate advantageous rushing lanes allow him to earn chunk plays on the ground. Devin Singletary had 26 10-plus yard runs last season, which ranked him 11th in the NFL, tied with Saquon Barkley. That is true. He has a good feel for playing running back, which allows him to be successful. And credit to Spotrac.com, who had Singletary's market value at $5.3 million AAV on a 3-year deal that would result in a total of $16.2 million. Spotrac is pretty damn accurate because the Giants gave him a 3-year, $16.5 million contract with a 5.5 AAV. And you can think what you want about this, but this is a solid, familiar 26-year-old running back who I feel like can be productive and can offer a lot of different things for you. He's also a pretty damn solid pass blocker. I didn't include those in this specific video, but if you want to go check it out, I'll add those pass blocking plays to the article at bigblueview.com, and I'll also put it on my Twitter. So let's get into some of these plays. All right, these first few plays, there's going to be a lot of zone here. You'll see power gap and counter, and the Texans like to run trap and some wham blocks and things of that nature as well. But the change of direction are the first few plays that I really want to highlight, because Devin Singletary, yes, he maintains that low profile, which is important because defenders can't easily discern where he is or where he's going. You can see how he runs low behind his pads, but the change of direction and the footwork is something I really want to focus on early in this video, because you can see it here. He has excellent vision for the backside pursuit defenders, which really worked out in zone rushing schemes, outside zone, stretch zone. It's no surprise that he was a better fit for Bobby Slowick's offense than Dameon Pierce. I'm not shocked by that at all. You could see on this specific play, 44 the linebacker right here, Zaire Franklin, he is getting into that gap. So that gap is eliminated. You can see right now, look where Devin Singletary's eyes are. They're watching these two blockers. He sees Zaire Franklin through all this mess, getting to the spot where Devin Singletary wants to go. So he understands he needs to cut back at this point. So let's get this defender to commit going way down this line of scrimmage to run himself out of the play where you're going to have 3 blockers and 1 player to beat on the backside. Find the cutback lane, execute the cutback. That's exactly what Devin Singletary does. You can see how low he gets in this cutback, and then he just scoops right around. And now look, 2 blockers up in space, 78 Laramie Tunsil's handling that other defender, and now you just have 20. And Devin Singletary does a good job falling through contact. He does that a lot for a smaller guy. Again, he's not a big dude, but he falls through contact pretty regularly. And you can see how he just gets so small and so skinny through very, very tight situations. And it's something I really appreciate about his game. Here, he's going to hit the hole, right? Jump cut. Look, there is no room to navigate for Devin Singletary in this area. And he still finds a way to break a tackle. I think that's DeForest Buckner as well. And then look at his blocks to almost get in the end zone. He ends up getting tackled, but you can see this all throughout his game, right? He does an exceptional job hitting the cutback lane. And then even on plays like this, where he finds a cutback lane, runs behind his blocks, puts that foot in the ground, and then jukes inside of the contained defender. So the contained defender did his job. He's containing, but Devin Singletary is not going to allow the contained defender to narrow and make the tackle, which is exceptional, right? And then he keeps running and picks up a bunch of extra yards, falls through contact. Singletary adapts really well on this play as the H-back motions over and then sets. And now 33 is an extra defender that Devin Singletary must worry about in the count. And 33 is just going to follow the H-back, stay tight. Singletary adjusts to this and then bounces to the outside. And you can see how 57 and 91, they all crash down the line of scrimmage. And Singletary just bounces to the outside where there's really nobody except for a wide receiver and a cornerback, picks up a nice solid chunk gain. So he's a smart runner. He's adaptive. And that's something I want a running back who has the reactive quickness to make defenses pay off the slightest slip up. Look, football is the game of inches. It's the game of angles. And Devin Singletary being a back who's not necessarily the most athletic. He's not Devin Achane out there who is going to break the angles of safeties consistently, but he maximizes the yards that the defense presents him. And that's something I will always appreciate and have appreciated about Devin Singletary on little plays like this. Just jukes. That's Antoine Winfield Jr. That's one of the best safeties in the league. Gets him in the hole, and then look how low he is, and watch this juke. It's a dirty, quick change of direction juke where he puts that foot in the ground, and then he notices that he's going to have this blocker right here, and this defender is flowing over the top. So this defender is running himself out of this gap, and Singletary recognizes that and then breaks right back in. Now, that defender also does a good job adjusting himself as well, but it's the recognition that there could be an angle to take advantage of to break a long run. These are some of the reasons why we have Devin Singletary breaking off 15, 20, 25-yard rushes. It's his vision that allows him to do that, and it's the quick juke. It's to put the foot in your ground and make a man miss. And that's exactly what he did against one of the best safeties in the league on the play you just witnessed. Now against the Carolina Panthers, that's Brian Burns who presents his chest. Scary, scary thought. Brian Burns, shed, present your chest. Just one jump cut. Very fluid jump cut by Devin Singletary. Almost gets in the end zone, but gets tackled right before he can. Singletary's not terrible by the goal line either. You can see this is a very nice touchdown where 94 gets pressure into the backfield, and he just cuts and finds the crease. Runs right behind his block, and then sheds number 50's tackle attempt. But remember, man, the Buffalo Bills brought in Zach Moss, drafted him in 2020, the year after Devin Singletary, and a lot of people believe Zach Moss was going to be the power type of back, and it never really manifested itself. And Singletary, you put him in these goal line situations, that vision and the ability to find the hole and get skinny through it, it's paid off in the past, but he's not necessarily a power back. He falls through contact and he has good contact balance, but he's not a power back. He's not a mover. That's not what a 203-pound, 5'7" type of back is ever going to be. Now let's go through this play. Going to have an inside zone. You're going to bring the tight end across the formation to kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. 24 follows tight end and then runs himself right into a block. And Devin Singletary's just got to stay skinny. He sees Noah Brown come over to eliminate number 37, and then he just explodes through. He gets tracked down, but the angle is very advantageous for the defensive back to get Devin Singletary. So it's not necessarily an indictment on his speed, but he's not necessarily a game-breaking speed type of back. I want to say his top mile per hour last season was 19.8, so he didn't even crack 20. Something to note. Here we see against the Jets. Just keep expanding. Good peripheral vision. You're going to go. You're going to press the line of scrimmage. Acts like he's going to go to the right. He sees the blocker right in front of him wash this Jets defender down the line of scrimmage. So he orients himself to get right behind the ass of that blocker. And then he feels the two pursuit defenders who are unblocked at this point. Devin Singletary then just stays tight to the blocker I was just mentioning and then finds a little bit of rushing room and falls forward. Here's CJ Stroud. We're going to hand the football off, change of direction again. Number 10 is going to run right into this block. Safety's got depth too. Thinking it could be a play action pass. You got to appreciate just press. See how 63, the defender who's on 63, eyes are to the front side, the eventual front side of this play, right? Here, looking. And you're going to press back this way, and then he's going to sit. And now he's eliminated from the play. And as 47 comes across to pick up the linebacker, now you don't have to worry about the linebacker. You don't have to worry about the interior defensive lineman because he eliminated himself by pressing the line of scrimmage and using tempo and patience. What we talk about patience, like what does patience exactly mean? Allow your blocks to manifest. Allow your blocks to develop. And this is something I feel like Singletary does a very good job with. He's able to get north and south, pick up a couple yards. You're going to see that a couple more times throughout this as well. This is another good example of what I was talking about because this is going to be a duo run. You're going to get those double teams. You're going to run towards the tight end side, and Devin Singletary is going to run, and you see how he acts like he's going outside, and this is going to force 29 to contain, come up, fill, because number 86 is defender Trey Hendrickson. He runs himself out of the play, so you're going to have 29 on the line of scrimmage. So what Devin Singletary wants is he wants 29 to run himself out from executing anything in the C gap. And that's exactly what 29 does. 29, he has contained defender right here. But the blocking towards the C gap, it's very good for Devin Singletary. And this blocker right here, Titus Howard, number 78, is going to pin Jermaine Pratt to the back of the defensive lineman. And this creates this hole in the C gap. And Singletary just has to force 29 down towards the line of scrimmage to attack the C gap. That's exactly what Devin Singletary does. Runs away from Pratt, who almost breaks off, and this ends up being an explosive play for the Houston Texans. And then he also cuts off the angle of 23. It's that quick change of direction, man. Got to appreciate it. Now against the Cincinnati Bengals once again, he just leaves 29 in the dust. 29 is unblocked. 29 has a straight shot at Devin Singletary. 29 comes to contact, but then shades to the outside to contain, to force Devin Singletary inside towards these pursuit defenders. But Singletary does a great job feeling those blocks out again. And credit to the Houston Texans getting up to the second level and executing good timing. And that's a really good block again by, I want to say that's Titus Howard. Make 29 miss. Follow your blocks, bro. Just follow your blocks. Get behind them. Make players miss with your low profile and your quick feet, your change of direction skills. It's just a really good run. Just a really good run right up the gut. This isn't somebody like he will bounce it outside if he needs to. This is an inside the tackle type of runner who is sub 205 pounds. You don't find too many of those types of guys, but you don't even see Singletary take too many just clean, huge hits, right? Like he protects himself very well. On this play, feels the block. You're going to pull the guard, and Singletary sees. At this point, number 56 is following, reading his run key, sees the guard pulling, and then he goes to avoid the tight end who's climbing up to the second level, and now he's ran out of the play. So it's going to be on Singletary to get past the first level, to get up to the second level where the safety is attempting to fill, and he ends up getting blocked by Noah Brown, and then Sauce Gardner comes around and makes this tackle. Against the Colts, going to get a nice counter run here. Little GH counter, meaning the backside guard and the H-back, they're going to pull. Singletary takes that step to set up the play, gets the football, and he makes a linebacker miss. It looks like it gets a little bit sloppy as that linebacker attempts to flow over the top of the climbing lineman. Singletary with the jump cut, make a miss, gets thrown to the deck. And that's just getting skinny, man. There's really no better example of what the term get skinny actually means than what Devin Singletary just showed on this play. Where are you going to go? You got to be patient. You got to step. You got to see where these blocks are actually being executed, what the leverage is of the defender, what gap is going to be open. And Singletary does just that. And he squeezes through there pretty damn cleanly. Good job by number 94 to come off of his block and then locate Devin Singletary to help make this tackle. But this is just getting yardage. There's not a lot of room here at this point. And Singletary still finds the crevice using his vision, using his overall feel for where to be, when to hit the hole, allow those blocks to develop. Here we're going to have this is a GF counter, if you want to call it that, I formation. You're going to have the fullback incorporated. Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans, comes from the Shanahan tree, so you're going to get some fullback runs. Singletary makes a bunch of people miss and runs for a nice long touchdown against the Titans, or the Oilers, if we will. So, see, good job by the guard pinning two guys. He eliminates that backside guard, eliminated two players from the play. 37, and he comes and he picks up with that 30. And then Singletary stays tight to his blockers, again, low, and then just jukes back to the inside, take advantage of Al-Shaair, stumbles through the arm tackle, and then outruns everybody to the end zone. I'm sure Shane Bowen was not happy about that. If I'm a betting man. This one is just a nice juke. And he gets just into the end zone. I believe this is counted as a rushing touchdown. I don't think the knee was down. Good block by Brevin Jordan. You see Brevin Jordan, number 9. Block the tackles assignment and then go and pick up the linebacker. That's a big hole. And then it's going to be on number 3 to fill. Number 3 tries to. That's a good jump cut by Singletary. And then fall through contact, my friend. And we're going to have Singletary find his way through a couple tackle attempts to the backside. He's going to press. Almost gets by this Bobby Trees block. Number 92 does a really good job making contact, but Singletary runs through it and then just lowers his shoulder and gets tackled in a rally type of manner. Here he's going to bounce everything outside, and I just like the pop on contact that he delivers. He could easily go out of bounds right here, right? It's almost disrespectful, but I love the attitude. He can easily just go out of bounds. There's no reason not to. There's really nowhere for you to go, and he just lowers his shoulder, and he delivers a huge hit on the running back. Again, delivers a nice big hit on number 20. He was really going after these Bengals defenders in this Bengal game. Just fall forward, bro. Good job. Love to see it. We're going to see some receiving skills. I only included a couple clips here. Look, he is an adept receiver, Devin Singletary. And on this route, you could see him. He's releasing from out of the backfield. This is a route that really showcases his overall understanding on how to run routes, how to extend plays, and just coordination too. Because this is man coverage. He's isolated. And you can see how he's going to spin back inside, but then he's going to feel that CJ Stroud is flowing outside towards the numbers, and he adjusts himself and runs away from the man coverage, makes his catch, creates an explosive play through the air. That's just understanding exactly where to be and how to execute your route against man coverage once the play breaks down, bailing your quarterback out and creating a very, very great situation for the offense. And this is a design screen, so you're going to have some lead blockers, but I wanted to show this because this guy has good vision, right? Like if he wasn't a starting running back, he'd be a good kick returner, and he's not even that fast. Just the vision to know how to run behind your blocks and how to maximize your blocks, man. Again, football, a lot of this is just about angles and teamwork too. And this is a teamwork thing, right? Like running behind your blocks, trusting where your blockers are going to be and executing the necessary timing to take advantage of the defense and what the defense is doing, or the special teams unit if he was a kick returner. It's something Singletary does pretty well. So a nice little just check down, but whoop. Look at that body control. Catch, foot in the ground, gets very low, spins off the tackle attempt, ends up getting tackled, but still got to appreciate it. And then I wanted to include this. If anything happens to Drew Lock, or if Daniel Jones isn't ready, put Devin Singletary in there and he'll throw a touchdown pass to Dalton Schultz. Alrighty, everybody. This was just a quick little brief breakdown. I've been going along with these videos. I'm trying to exercise a little bit more brevity. So it wasn't too in-depth, but I just wanted to showcase that Devin Singletary, he's no slouch. Okay. Yeah. He's not Saquon Barkley. Not a lot of players in the NFL are Saquon Barkley. But if you wanted to get a really competent, good quality running back at less than half the price, the Saquon Barkley, somebody who knows this system, somebody who's familiar, somebody who's reliable, somebody who can pass protect. Again, check the article on bigblueview.com or head on over to my Twitter at Nick Filato. Then there's really no better option than Devin Singletary. Now, you could have waited a little bit. A lot of the running backs ended up kind of coming off the board. I can understand that argument if you wanted to wait, because players right now, as I record this, I believe Zach Moss is still around. So there still are some competent players, but they wanted their guy. They went out and they got their guy. And now you have a solution at the running back position. You don't need to worry about the running back. You don't need to draft a running back, and you can just kind of allow Devin Singletary to come into New York and be who he has been throughout his entire career. And that will be fine for the New York Giants for the next 3 years. So I'm okay with this signing. And I think the Giants got a guy who can execute all three of the phases of playing running back. Saquon Barkley, best of luck in Philadelphia. Devin Singletary, come in here and let's seize the day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this YouTube channel, Big Blue View. I am Nick Filato. Please, again, head on over to bigblueview.com and check out all of our written content. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely day.